Chaotically Nerdy is a podcast made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults, for adults, and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On today's episode is me, Tyler.
And me, Jared.
And me, Ethan.
And today we're going to talk about Chicago's football team.
Hey.
That's right, the Bears.
The Bears.
No, we're going to talk about the
Bears.
show, The Bear.
The Bears.
I knew that would happen. I knew I shouldn't have made that joke.
That's
No,
on you,
shouldn't.
but you made the
This
joke.
is all your fault. I'm
And,
leaving.
I mean, all of this is kind of my fault.
Yeah.
I did suggest starting a podcast.
You bought the board. I mean,
I did. Which was the biggest and I'm also pissed off about buying the board.
that's your
Because
fault.
no, he bought one and then they made a new one like
Yeah,
6
in
months
true
later.
in true Tyler fashion, every time I purchase a product, like I spend months researching a product, I purchase it, 2 months later, a fucking new better one comes out.
Yep.
Every single
Add a step
time.
to your purchase product.
Wait.
Go to purchase it, put everything in, and be like, nah. And then wait like 2 weeks.
Oh, I've done that before too, and then it still happens.
It happens from inception of him buying it.
Yeah.
He has to hit
That's
buy.
like conspiracy theory. They're
Yeah, it
watching you, waiting for you to purchase, like, and then they're the
Like,
fingers hovering over the
Fucking
sale
got
button.
him again, boys.
Like,
Amazon-
ship them.
Yeah. Amazon is 100% watching my purchase list. I'm waiting on.
They've got 1,000 people just holding the boxes, waiting.
I have flat out. I just bought a new mic setup for my computer and everything, and I bought the Elgato Wave like XLR interface. I 100% expect there to be a new Elgato XLR microphone and a new Elgato Wave interface.
Elgato.
Yeah,
The cat?
yeah.
The cat.
It's a big
Does
like.
it have cat ears?
No, they actually don't have cat
That'd be
ears.
funnier.
They're
I
like
would
a,
appreciate it more if it did.
It's this.
yeah. This wave arm in particular is an Elgato wave arm.
Yeah.
Or wave arm. This mic arm.
Yeah, it's Elgato.
Yeah, they're like kind of.
I don't know if I want to buy a mic arm that was called Elgato. It would just knock itself off.
They make pretty good products to be honest. Like I like them.
Really?
They've been around for a hot minute.
A hot minute.
Yeah. Probably
at least,
over 10 years.
Yeah.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
We both
never
bought,
bought anything from
Elgato
them.
capture cards.
Yes.
Way back
Is
in
this
the day.
about the bear or the cat?
It's currently about the cat for some reason.
It's about the cat for some reason, but the bear just ate the cat. So we're going to the bear.
Ow.
First up, notable actors. Obviously, Jeremy Allen White
Yeah.
is probably the most notable actor in it because he's there the most.
There's several people.
There is several people that are very good. Actually, most everybody in this show is good.
Oh, who plays the fat guy? Fat.
Fact. Maddie Matheson, who's an actual chef.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
He is one of the what do they call him?
Executive producers.
He is an executive producer, but he's also like one of the supervising chefs on set or whatever to like make sure it looks
What else has
like
he
an
been
actual
on?
kitchen. Yeah. Not a whole lot.
He's been on
He has a-
some
he has a
other things
YouTube.
that I've seen.
He has a YouTube where he does like
Maybe
cooking
that's
stuff.
what it was. But I've seen him other things. I always like seeing him, but I didn't know.
He's fucking hilarious in this.
He is
He's so
hilarious. It's so good.
I was gonna look him up to see what. I was also gonna look up this guy, Eben Moss Bachrach.
Sure.
That's how I'm gonna say his last name. I'm not sure.
You know what I call him? Cousin.
Yeah, cousin. Richie. Richie is fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
In this show, especially between both seasons.
Yes.
By the way, I'm just gonna get it out there. We don't know if we're talking about just season 1 this episode or season 2.
Yeah.
So it depends on how long we vamp.
In true us fashion, we're winging it.
Absolutely. He was in a movie called Working Moms, and The Bear, Dugout, and It's Supper Time. That's literally all he is known for, basically. Or no, he acted in a few other things, or one other thing. Craig of the Creek, but that's an animated show, and Les Lect. But now that we've got Fack out of the way, is the bear in the opening episode whenever Carmi is like trying to calm it down, which is obviously just a hallucination.
Yeah.
Is it 6 months old? Because like Jeremy Allen White is a small man,
He is a short king.
and
Literally,
that
if you've
bear
ever seen one.
was small.
He's like 5'7". It is this tiny bear. I also think it's just supposed to be like a representation of him. Like he has a tiny bear.
Okay,
Because you know why they eventually call all of the
all of them the bear.
Yeah.
Well, isn't their last name?
Berzado?
Yeah. And they just call him Bear for
Yeah.
short. Next up, selling jeans for meat, which is the most fucking
It is.
ridiculous thing in there, but I love it. Or trading, I guess is a better term.
Trading like vintage denim for meat.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know?
If it works, it works.
Yeah. He's a hustler.
He is. And he's really trying to make it work, which is impressive because, like,
This is what he's wanted for the entire time. He wanted to be a chef to work here
yeah.
at the Bear,
Well-
or at the Beef.
The second season is more what he wanted.
Yeah, but he wanted to work at the Beef with his brother.
Yeah. As a smaller joint, they should be happier, ideally, because they should be a closer knit family, I would think. They act like they fucking hate each other.
Well,
at
have
the
you seen?
start.
I mean, literally watching fishes. Their family kind of fucking sucks.
All right,
Yeah.
fair. I'm okay. I meant the workers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because like,
At the start of the show, that kitchen fucking sucks.
yeah, it does. It's not well run.
No.
but also goes to show you kind of what kind of person
Mikey-
Michael was.
He's a fucking drug addict.
Yeah, and all over the place on top of that.
And yeah,
Which
probably
that's probably
like
'cause he's drug
bipolar.
Yeah.
It was you can tell it was literally ran by a manic drug addict. You're like, yeah, this makes no goddamn sense.
I did think it's funny when Carmi and cousin were arguing, and Richie says something along the lines of, "Did whatever culinary school Carmi went to teach you how to fix that or teach you that?" And then like 5 minutes later, something breaks, and Carmi's like, "Did DeVry teach you how to fix that?" It's like, God, you're such cunts, and I
Yeah.
love it.
He didn't even graduate though.
Yeah,
I know, that was the point. Sleep cooking, which it was fucking, it caught me off guard that he woke up trying to cook all his shit and almost burnt down his apartment. And I feel like that's something you should probably go see a therapist about.
Oh yeah, that's the
Like that's some shit you need to get through.
yeah.
Because-
That's Kyramie's whole thing through both seasons. It's like he needs help.
He does.
That happens to a lot of people though who are in really high stress,
Yeah.
repetitive environments, like
Yeah, where
cooking.
they do the
Yeah.
repetitive thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You ever like wake up trying to give your wife like
A shot.
an IV?
No, I never have done that. I will say my wife wakes up randomly and will yell for the kids when they're not in the room or anything. Like for a good while there after Jensen was born, she would just wake up, throw the covers off of us and sit up and go, "Where's Jensen?" And I'm like, "He's in his bed. Lay down. It's fine."
Freaking out on me. Keep it together, woman.
And the first little bit that she did it, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like it would piss me off. And then now I've just got so used.
Because she's waking your ass up.
Well, and not even that. It was just I didn't realize what was going on for such a long period of time that she was just freaking out about it. There was one day I was out with both the kids in the living room and she was asleep because she worked the night before, and I heard her yelling for me, and I thought like something had happened to her. So I run in there and she's like, "Well, I can't find Jensen." I'm like, "That's because he's playing in the floor right now. Like, you're not supposed to find him. Go back to sleep." "Oh, okay." And then the grading, they got a C. I wrote C.
I know you wrote it. It makes no goddamn sense.
C doesn't seem that bad.
That's not how
That's not how that
restaurants
works,
work. No, that's not how that works.
C's get degrees.
That's like you get a C. Oh, I'm never eating there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a C. Like that's like C is for closed.
Yeah.
Well, they say that in the show. C is for can't fucking happen, I believe.
That's
what
what it
Carmi
is.
says.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Fucking happen.
This is just a nitpick that I have that I see every time there's a fucking cooking thing. People taste test with their spoons and then they immediately put the spoon back in the fucking food.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
They're supposed to have like spoons around the kitchen for you to dip in, throw it away.
Yes.
Like throw it like to be cleaned.
That almost never happens. especially like when it's more. I'd say it more so happens whenever you see people cooking at home. They'll take their fucking ladle and like taste test
Yeah,
their
but
soup
I mean,
and then
it-
shove it back in the food. And I'm like, don't fucking do that. I don't care if we're family or not.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
It drives me nuts.
Family.
We're family.
Family. You know what? That's true. It's family. Nothing's more powerful than family.
Ain't that the truth? Next up, I put, why is Tina such a bitch? And why is Richie such a dick? Like, because both of them. The
Because that's
first,
their character
I
arcs.
know, but God.
Chicago.
At least
Fair
Tina.
enough.
Tina happens pretty quick by like episode 3 or 4. She's like,
No, Tina was a bitch from the get.
No, I mean, or she stops kind of being a bitch.
Oh, okay,
as
I
much.
got you. Yeah.
Richie's a dick the entire fucking season.
Yeah.
Into almost all the way through season 2, he's a dick. You're like,
I mean,
"Oh,
Tina was still a bitch to Sydney for most of the
most of
first
it."
season.
but she's not as much as.
I don't want to alienate people, but like, I feel like those attitudes, those personalities are not uncommon in like bigger cities.
Oh, yeah.
Like Chicago and like.
Well, I
New
think
York
that, I mean,
especially.
that's definitely kind of like the whole charm. Because anytime you see a character that's from Chicago or New York,
Yeah.
they're always assholes.
Yeah, that's because that's what they are.
Yeah. Next up, Xanax in the drink cooler.
It's funny.
Oh,
That was
it's great.
so
It's
great.
hilarious.
So good.
Also,
Uncle Jimmy's just like, I think I actually like it this way.
yeah, because
Oh,
because they showed those kids the whole time,
Like, they're driving him fucking nuts.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna kill him.
and you could tell. Fucking the one guy used to play for the Cubs. I can't remember his name, but they just kind of said it in passing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got it when I played for the Cubs." And he's like, "Wait a minute, you used to play for the Cubs,
Yeah.
and now you're working at the fucking Beef."
Yeah.
Like that's a big jump. He did not take care of his money apparently.
No.
And then this is a stupid question because I know the answer, but I put, why is Carmi so hard on Sydney? And it's just because he's a chef and so is she, and she went to a high school, so they're
he
assholes.
expects more
Yeah.
from her.
no, it's called generational trauma
Yeah, that also too.
because
Definitely
because that happened to him with
Joe
McHale.
Yeah, Joe McHale.
With McHale's character, he was treating him like worse
Oh.
than he ever treated Sydney.
Oh, he's like
Yeah.
a terrible person.
Yeah.
Can we just say
What's
like
that, chefs?
the cameos in the show
Oh, they're
for
fantastic.
just like
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
I was
Bill
so
Poulter.
surprised. Yeah.
You're just like
Well, even they've got what's his name? We talked about the uncle
J-
Oliver Platt. right?
Oliver Platt,
Yeah.
plays Jimmy Cicero, the most
Yeah.
fucking Italian name that's ever Italian.
The most Italian name. That's the title of the episode.
Yeah,
by
but
the
there's
way.
like
It's
quite
like
a few.
Will Poulter, fucking Bob
Yeah.
Odenkirk,
yeah.
Will
John
Poulter was great.
John Mulaney. Like they're
Yeah.
just you're just like
John Mulaney caught me off guard.
you're like, where the fuck are all these people coming from? I can't wait to see who they get for season 3 because you know they're just gonna bring like 5 new people.
Oh yeah. They had Olivia Colman on there. too.
Olivia Colman,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was great.
You're like, oh yeah, they're gonna have like 5 new people, and you're gonna be like, how the fuck did they even get these people? Like how?
In season 1, I would say my favorite episode is probably this next episode I'm going to talk about, which was the to-go day episode.
Oh, it's so good.
Because it was so hectic of all the shit going on.
Yeah.
They finally get the printer to work right, and it prints out so many fucking tickets, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck we're
I
going to do.
left the pre-order tab open.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Sydney
He
stabs
stabs-
Richie.
Stabs him right in the ass.
Which is great. And then Marcus bringing up that fucking donut to Carmi, and he's like, get that the fuck out of my face. Are you fucking shitting me right now, Marcus?
Oh god, it's so good. Like just you see Carmen just fucking like his brain breaks. He's like he just snaps. Goes full fucking just asshole.
And like you see every little shot that happens the whole time of like him just getting punched in the mouth because they're trying to do something, and
Yeah.
bam.
There's been you said Marcus, right? We didn't
Yes.
mention
Oh, yeah.
Marcus at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is he in?
I don't know.
Boyce, right?
I have no idea.
I've seen him in several other things.
I don't want to lie to you and tell you I've seen him in something else.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
Yeah, there's something I can't think of anything off the top. Of my head.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Hap and Leona. Hey You, It's Me.
It must have been Curb Your Enthusiasm. That was recently.
Looks like some Tyler the Creator music videos. It's kind of how that looks like it reads. But yeah, I haven't seen him in too much personally.
I thought but I realized it was the character. But I thought at first he was just like going to be like this nothing actor guy. But he ended up being very entertaining.
He gets.
Yeah.
And he gets a lot of shine.
But
in
it was
season
just,
two.
it was the character.
Yeah.
It was the character. And it was really good because he sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Fuck you.
And then the other episode, or the next episode, was the TV show Dream.
That, yeah, you know, watching this time, I'm like, I don't remember this happening at all. This is hilarious.
Yeah. It was, it was very weird.
It's very, like, they make some stylistic choices sometimes of, like, openings and, like, moments, and you're like, it was weird, but it kind of works.
And season 1 is more that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's more bounce off the walls, things are hectic, which is fitting for season 1 of the show because it is very hectic. And then group therapy seemed odd to me because I feel like Carmi would probably have better been suited for a one-on-one therapy session.
Yeah, he definitely needs one-on-one therapy. Group therapy is not going to.
And possibly medication. Let's
Oh,
be honest.
definitely.
Yeah, he needs some medication.
That whole family
Oh,
needs.
yeah, they're all
They,
screwed.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all fucked in the head.
Every single one of them.
Every one of them.
I put contrast between clean and dirty because they kind of like cut back and forth for a little bit and show like how dirty it was, and then at the near the end of the season, them finally getting their shit a little bit together.
Yeah.
And it looked like a completely different place, which was great. And then I wrote after them like finding all the money in the tomato sauce,
Yeah.
which also makes me think of the spaghetti's fucking great. The spaghetti sucks. The argument at the start. And he's like, well, if it sucks, why is it our best seller? Because these people suck. It was essentially what Carmi was saying.
It's like they have no fucking taste buds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the question was, are they just going to use the money from that? Because then that's going to look sketchy because now they got all this cash.
Hey, they didn't get that money legally anyway.
Well, I know that, but that's what I'm saying is if you turn
they
around.
were selling some things on the side.
Yeah.
No, that that money come directly from Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So however Uncle Jimmy gets his money, which is it's probably laundered at least. But
I'm sure.
this is off the books though.
Yeah.
Uncle Gene.
But that's the thing. If all of a sudden you've got a business who's been late on all these bills and everything else, all of a sudden,
It looks suspicious.
yeah,
Which that kind of comes up in season 2,
a little bit.
where they're like, you were doing shit under the counter a lot.
Yeah. Is there anything else in season 1 that y'all can think of and want to mention? Because this only took us a little bit, so we can talk about season 2 as well.
The reveal that John Bernthal is Mikey,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, you're like, oh fuck,
That's kind of like the first time that you see a bigger name
yeah,
besides Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. And I would call it the first cameo
yeah.
that you really see.
But you're like, oh no,
Yeah, you know it's going to be fucking,
you're in for some heartbreak.
yeah, and drama.
Yeah,
A lot of drama.
and we get there.
And you do get there in season 2, that's for sure.
We get there.
Ethan, you got anything else you want to add for season 1?
If this had been the only thing I had seen of the show, I don't know if I would have liked it, but having waited until season 2 came out, I think I really like it because you don't get a lot of character progression in season 1.
No,
No.
not at all.
It's all just chaos and aggression.
Yep.
And I think that if somebody had stopped watching it, because it is very, very stressful and aggressive of a show.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
if you
God.
don't like stress, do not watch this
If
show.
you don't like stress and you don't like people cussing at other people.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's,
If you don't like cussing at all, don't watch it.
No.
yeah,
Yeah. Or don't, I mean, you wouldn't be here probably.
Yeah,
But
that's true too.
if you don't like stressful situations, this is not the show for you because
no, it is a
like,
very stressful. I was surprised at how good they were at achieving stress level.
yeah.
Just for the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it was very, very well directed and produced as well.
And to say something, I mean, that says something about the writing even because
Yeah.
they make you feel like you actually care about what's going on.
Every little thing.
Yeah.
Every little thing. And and we aren't there yet, but season 2, they have so much more character progression and stuff. And
That is season 2, and the gist is the progression.
yeah,
So
but this is really good because it's like a whole season of character establishment.
yeah,
And it's like exhibition, but played out. It's fantastic.
yeah. So Rotten Tomatoes for season 1 has a 92% audience score. I did not see a critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
It would be high.
Yeah. And then IMDb episode 7 was the highest rated at 9.5 out of 10. And that was the to-go episode, which makes sense.
It's incredibly high.
Most of the other episodes sit around the 7.8 to, it's actually down to 9.5. Oh, never mind. I thought I said 9.7, but it was the episode 7. Most of them sit around the 8 mark. They're like 7.8 to 8.2. The finale is a 9.2 as well. But that was season 1. So let's rate that for us. Just season 1. Jarrett.
I would probably go somewhere around the IMDb overall.
Which the overall's got season 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm going to say 9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay. That's respectable. And then it's me. I'm going to say 8.6. I was going to say 8.7, but I think 8.6. It's very hectic. And like Ethan said, if there was a little more character development and maybe not as hectic, which I know it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And this is just season 1 in general. Like if you tie in season 2, it goes up for me. So Ethan, what do you got?
I'd have to agree. It's around 7.5 or 8.5.
Yeah.
It's really well done, but it does not leave off on a positive note. It doesn't have a lot of positive notes in general.
Yeah.
Kind of leaves off on
Yeah, sort
Positive-ish.
of. Sort of. Yeah.
I mean, they found $100,000 though. Like,
That's a positive note.
positive-ish.
It's a positive note. I mean,
they don't have to close their doors.
They had a real resolution to one of their problems.
Yes.
The
The problem is that they have 300,000 problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really, really well done. I don't think as just season 1 by itself, I don't think it doesn't feel as satisfying. Yeah, but it is very well done.
I think if there was season 1 and that's it, like if they didn't get renewed for season 2 or anything like that, this would be a much lower show for me
Probably.
because of just how hectic it was the whole time. And there was a story, but it was it bounced around.
Yeah.
But I have to agree, adding in season 2, it's going to get much higher.
Yes.
It's very close to perfect, almost.
So let's jump into season 2. They talked to Cicero about wanting a loan so that they can try to make this the Bear, an actual restaurant. And Cicero's like, okay, and kind of agrees to it. They start talking money, and he's like, yeah, I'll do 500,000. So he just got 500K just fucking laying around.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah.
Uncle Jimmy's rich.
I mean, we know he's rich, but
He's a money launderer in Chicago.
yeah.
He's going to have way more than that sitting around.
And then in season 2 is where Tina really made her turn around because she's like nice to Sydney in this as they're getting ready, and she's nice to almost everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't hear her make really any asshole remarks in this, and not to mention she went to culinary school and she did very well. Like she succeeded there,
Yeah.
and becomes a huge part of the Bear. I mean, in the last few episodes. They only had 6 months to gut it, like to basically change the whole building.
Yeah.
And then they cut that to 3.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is impossible to fully do that.
It's supposed to feel impossible on purpose. It's supposed to be like, okay, well, we're in
Well, I mean, they cut some corners.
They did.
Uncle
Yeah.
Jimmy pays some, he makes some calls, hints some favors, pushes some money around. We get some shit happening here.
Yeah. I typed it in wrong, but I put good old safety squints on Mikey's locker because they have to cut the lock off of his locker, and Richie just squints as he's cutting it, and I'm like, that's
No, Carmi cuts it.
Does Carmi cut it?
Yeah. But he also just safety squints and it's like,
I love safety squints because that's true. I put calling mom, but I guess I don't know what the fuck I meant here.
calling mom.
I think for a good majority of the show, I thought the mom was dead too.
It's kind of like up in the air.
And so
you're not
maybe-
really supposed to know.
And I think that's why I put calling mom. And then I just never really clarified what I meant to myself. Because I think he did call her and like leave her a voicemail or something.
Maybe.
And to me, I was thinking that she was dead, and that was just his way of still talking to her and getting things out. But then later on in the season, we know she's still alive.
Yeah, they're just estranged.
Yes. That's because the whole family's fucking nuts.
Strangely estranged. It's very weird.
Yeah. Abraham spent most of the season struggling in the culinary school.
He's just absent for like 4 episodes.
Yeah, he quit the school. And
quit
then just
school and then
didn't
he
show
just
up,
doesn't show up, and he only shows up like in like episode 5 or 6 again.
which
Yeah.
is
And
interesting because like he wouldn't have had the culinary experience that Tina has
Yeah.
because she went to the whole school. So I'm even impressed that they were like, yeah, come back and still work with us.
Well, he comes back because he's running the window.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point. He comes back to run the window during the day.
Gotcha. So he's not actually cooking as much. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I guess I missed that as
Yeah, that's the whole reason they bring him back. Tina's like, we need some old crusty fuck to run the window during the day, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm a Noah guy.
I do remember them saying that. I
Noah
just,
guy.
yeah. I remember them saying that
Yeah.
they need some old bastard to run it.
Yeah.
Just didn't, I guess it didn't register. Next up, I put Carmi's a cunt and picked the worst day to bail on Sydney because they're trying to get all that shit done as far as food. And he's just like, I'm going to go hang out with this girl.
Yeah.
And
Who we
it's so,
turn out is like, he's had a crush on her for like
Yeah.
10 years.
and they do make fun of him. For,
I don't entirely blame him. I'm like, yep, I feel you. Be like, this is my shot. I'm taking it. Fuck the world.
Also, because it was the worst day for her doesn't mean that he actually computed how stressful that might be for her, because that's what happens in real life. If someone comes to you asking for something, sometimes you're going to say no when they really, really need
Yeah.
it.
And
And
you're
that's
like-
just real life.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're in your own headspace thinking about your own thing. They're in their own headspace doing the same. And just because that this is the most important thing for them today doesn't mean that you're even considering the fact that it is that. I mean, you don't have to be a cunt for that, even though Carmi is a cunt.
Well, here's why I'm saying Carmi's a cunt is because it's for the restaurant.
Yeah, his whole arc this season is he takes his eye off the ball,
Yeah.
and everything goes to shit.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying he's a cunt. Not because he skipped out on sit. Like that, to me, that's fine if it wasn't for the restaurant. If Sydney was like, hey, let's go do this and just to do it,
Well,
that's different.
It's
But
like
they've
the
been-
whole point of the whole season is to prove to Carmi that he's not the end all be all of what the restaurant actually needs.
Yeah.
He's important to it, of course, but everyone else can function without him. And before this, like in season 1, he's always like getting on people about doing things wrong and shit all the time. And it's almost like he thinks like he is the most important. He's the only one there that knows what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this whole season is to prove that that's not true.
That everybody has grown substantially.
Yeah.
And knows how to do it now.
Exactly.
And Carmi is just the same. I mean, that's the gist of this season is
He's-
Carmi doesn't change and everybody else gets better. Next up, we've kind of already hit on this. I put random semi-well-known people everywhere.
Yeah.
Most of them are well-known, but I can see how people could miss not knowing them, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's more because of the way the show is, who it's targeted at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Will Poulter is more action and comedy than drama. Most of the things I've seen him in.
I mean, technically, this is a comedy.
It's fucking funny.
Well, I mean, there's even some British actors in there that are like Will Poulter.
Yeah.
That aren't generally they've worked for a long time in British television, but they've only done a few things outside of it. But they're still big names because what they've done has been really influential.
Yeah.
Like Poulter and what's her name that played the Queen?
Olivia Colman.
Yeah, Coleman.
Next up, we're going to talk about Jarrett's favorite episode. Fishes.
No, it's not my favorite episode.
I thought you said it was.
No, Forks is my favorite episode.
Oh, I thought you said
I just
Forks is-
also really like Fishes.
gotcha. Well, I wrote, that's a clusterfuck of a Christmas because
it's
it was
awful.
fucking ridiculous.
And you want to talk everybody in there famous except for Jimmy's wife is literally an actor.
Yeah.
You're like everybody. You're like, oh, yep. A well-known actor. You're like, oh yeah, this is except for other fact. Other fact.
By the way, I rewatched the first episode.
Yeah.
Talking about Fac and other Fac. I rewatched the first episode of season 1. and they're sitting around at the family,
Yeah.
and they're talking about what they're thankful for, and it cuts to Fat, and he's like, "I'm thankful for my cats, Ralph." And they're like, both of them are named Ralph? He said, yeah, it's just easier that way. And like acts like it's such a normal thing.
They're like, how many facts are there?
Yeah. They just keep coming out of the woodwork. Next up, anger issues and suicidal ideations are apparently hereditary. Well, I say that because that's the whole point, is that the mom is threatening to kill herself in it. They're all angry nonstop, which mental health issues are typically can be hereditary. They're not necessarily always hereditary, but they can be. And next up, I wrote, was there a point to Fishes? Because it felt, there is, and I know that after you get to the end and things like that, the point felt like, let's show how shitty this family is.
Correct.
And it, to me, you spent all of season 1 seeing how shitty the family was, essentially.
But you don't actually get to see it. You just kind of feel the after effects of it. You get to see like, oh, this is them in their prime.
Yeah. I mean, and I get that. But for me, as good as this episode is, I don't think I would have been upset if it wasn't in this season. Like, if I didn't know about it, I don't think I would have been real upset about it. Because it only really just shows how crazy and estranged the family is.
It does set up other things. They're not like big moments, but it does set up like it starts Richie's story. Kind of gives you a starting point from where Richie starts.
Yeah.
To be like, all right, well, here's where he's going. And the next episode, you're like, all right, well, we're fucking going.
Yeah.
Sets up like Nat's trauma with her mom for the end of the end of the season. Sets up Carmy and Claire's relationship and how long this has been in the works, in the making. Like, It's been 5 years since she got hot, which is essentially when this happened.
Yeah.
It sets up a lot of stuff, but sure, it's not necessarily technically needed.
Yeah.
But goddamn, am I happy it's here. Because that scene of throwing the fucking fork, just John Bernthal, I'm like, I could watch it.
And then they're sitting there, just throw the fucking fork.
Throw it.
And then they do. And it's like,
yeah.
Which, to me, I'd just fucking leave. Like, I'm not the type to sit there and deal with that types of shit. So
maybe that's why you don't like it as much. Like, it just it makes you uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, it does, but at the same time, if shit gets stupid or weird, I just leave. I'm not dealing with this. Why would I keep myself in this situation? That's how I feel about it.
My favorite line though is when they're sitting they're starting the fork thing, and Richie just goes, "Hey, Mikey, you're scaring the normals."
Yeah,
I'm like, he's not fazed by this at all. He's just like, "Hey, you're scaring the normals." At
that point, because they've got the beef running, right?
Yeah,
and Richie hasn't started working with him, but he's known Michael.
No, he has.
Has he?
He literally talks about Jimmy. He's like, I don't want to be working at the beef.
That's right. He's trying to get a job from Jimmy.
Yeah.
So he's worked with Michael for however long now, and so he knows who Michael is. Yeah. Also, their family. They've grown up.
They're cousins.
Next up is where we talk about forks. Richie's turnaround and Taylor Swift car. That's what I wrote.
Oh, it was so good.
I hated Richie for all of season 1.
That's what you're supposed to. What makes this the best episode?
And
it's so good.
Because it's not like he changes really like anything about his personality.
No. He's still the same asshole.
He just has a different attitude about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The entirety of season 1, I just kept waiting. My brain was like, Richie's going to be the one to fuck this up and make everything go south. And they're going to lose the whole fucking restaurant. That's how I felt the entirety of season 1 and half of season 2. Was that Richie's the fuck up and he's going to be the one to cause it to go under. And then Forks happened and I was like, Richie's the best character in the fucking show.
I'm without hyperbole, this might be my favorite episode of television ever.
It's so
fucking
good.
Phenomenal.
It takes a character that you kind of you want to hate.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to hate him. into like your favorite character, not just on the show, but on almost any show.
Yeah.
I think I can name like a handful I like more than Richie after this episode. Like a handful, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. I do like that they're like building, this is off of Forks now, because I mean we can gush about that for probably an hour if we really wanted to.
I literally could gush. I could talk for hours and hours and hours about it.
But after that, every time you see them and they're all like working in the restaurant trying to get shit set up and fixed, they're all stress chugging Pepto.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah.
Those last 2 episodes, they are just like they're passing around a bottle of Pepto Bismol, like gulp.
Because I remember at one point,
Just Fack hiding in the walk-in, just chugging Pepto.
well, I remember at one point I seen Fack, Carmi had it and was like chugging it. And Fack goes,
Give me.
Well, they're talking about how stressful it's gonna be, and he's like, "Hit me."
yeah.
Hit me. Need a shot.
No, Richie's turnaround on that episode is just
Phenomenal.
premium television.
And you get a payoff with it. Yeah. It's not like Richie gets, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but you get a payoff with it because in the final episode when he takes over, that's like, okay, this is phenomenal. It's not just, okay, he's coming, he knows what he's supposed to do. It's he knows what he's supposed to do and he fucking does it.
I got real worried because on a lot of TV shows, when someone makes this turnaround and they're in their car having a good time and singing the song, they get sideswiped or T-boned into like being in the hospital for the next 6 years or so. And it's always just like, I was so worried about it. I was so relieved when it didn't happen. And then I know we're not quite there yet, but on the last episode when they're doing the final service, like, you know, and everyone's there, and that asshole's talking shit about well, it wasn't the final service, was it? He was talking shit about the wine to Richie, and he's like, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
This is, and he names off the wine, and he's like pointing at him. It's like just telling him he's a fucking moron. So he's got the same attitude. It's so it's so fantastic.
That's when he's still in this, like the restaurant where he's got trained, because they let him like do a little bit more after he got the forks done. No. That was in the no. You're right. You're right. It wasn't at the actual Bear. It was whenever he was still working at the other restaurant.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then they taught the whole "I'm sorry" sign to each other, and I'm like, man, they're just gonna be saying that shit nonstop.
And they literally, from the moment Carmi teaches Sid, they just start fucking doing it every time they yell at each other. They're just like, which is every episode.
Well, it's a lot easier to do that than it is
to say I'm sorry,
especially for these two personalities, which are hyper aggressive personalities.
I think you mean the entire fucking Bear.
Yeah, it's true.
Carmi, okay, this is just a part that bothered me because Carmi should not have been caught in that walk-in, or they should have done it slightly different so that you could see how he got stuck.
Yeah.
Because walk-in freezers have a safety mechanism so that you can't get stuck in them.
Push safety thing.
I think that's part of the problem is they were cutting so many corners.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, they had Fact doing their fucking repairs.
Show that it doesn't like, hey, have him push the thingy.
Yeah, because even though that the outside door broke, you still have that mechanism to push. So
literally, this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And that just
that's all we wanted was just like have a pan down of him pushing it with his hand.
Maybe it just goes to show how old the walk-in is, though.
That is also possible.
They cheaped out on it.
Maybe. And then this part just cracked me up of when they're looking for the one guy and they go outside. He's just fucking smoking meth.
Yeah.
He's like, is that meth? Just a little bit.
Hey, no. This is still a shithole. We're just a little bit of a shithole. Still, just a little bit.
And because it was Marcus that found him, right? He's like, oh, shit, man. I think I got to fire you. Hang on.
I got to go check. And the guy goes, yeah. Go check. And he goes back to smoking the meth.
The chocolate covered banana was a nice touch because that's probably the biggest payoff for me, at least in Fishes.
Yeah,
is because it actually like comes full circle, and so it's a nice touch to see that they remembered that, or not remembered it, but wrote it in.
Hang on, one more point. Can we just give a fucking round of applause for fucking Pete for not, like, he could have ruined Nat's entire night by telling her mom's there, and he's just a good dude.
Yeah, he is a good dude.
This entire, like, they shit on him so much, And he tries so hard to
You
fit
know
in this
why they
fame.
shit on him so much? Because he's a good dude and they're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's exactly it.
But
Yeah.
I feel like
they don't know how to
Hey.
be around somebody who's not an asshole.
He's a non-aggressive, non-asshole person.
Yeah.
He's kind of a doofus.
he is
a
a
little
bit of a
bit.
doofus.
Yeah. But I mean, that could be endearing too. So like, you wonder at first when you meet him because he just seems like a complete doofus.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy, but he's like an actual doofus. And you wonder why she's even with the dude.
Yeah.
But you figure out why pretty
He's like-
quickly.
he's just
The
a good
bad
guy.
thing is, he will probably never get recognition for that.
I want him to
more
get
than
one so
us.
bad.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in the show, no
Yeah.
one will ever recognize that he did that for her.
Yeah.
But it's a moment that I'm like, hey, good on you, Pete.
Yep.
You're fucking good, dude.
And then
That part, like, what broke my heart wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis's
Yeah.
character, the mom.
yeah, I care less about her.
Yeah, it wasn't her not being able to handle it. It was
Pete
Pete trying so hard to make things right, and
Yeah.
it didn't work the way he wanted
Yeah.
it to. That broke my heart more than Jamie Lee Curtis.
And then he just had to kind of swallow it.
Yeah.
yeah,
deal with it.
What a fantastic person.
Yeah. So now onto the ratings. The Rotten Tomatoes was a 99% tomato score with a 93% audience score, which shocks me more that 7% of people said they didn't like this fucking season.
Yeah.
What's not to like about it is my question.
People just shit on things and shit on things. I know I do that sometimes, but I mean, I can't overlook how good this is.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And then season 2, episode 7, which was Forks, was the highest rated. It is still the highest rated at 9.7 out of 10.
I'm
And
not sure it should be the highest rated. The highest rated should be the one with Richie.
That's
that's Forks.
Is that Forks?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember their names or what episode.
I only know the two names. It's Fishes,
and Forks.
They're
Fishes and
right
Forks.
back to right back to back.
Back to back. Forks is
I was imagining it was the last one. Okay.
no. The last one is the third
Forks
highest
is the
rated.
best by far. Yeah.
Forks is Richie being at the restaurant coming into his own. Fishes is the next highest rated at 9.6, which was the Christmas episode. And the final episode was the next highest rated, which was 9.4. The rest of them are like 8s.
Yeah. But god damn.
But those 3 episodes
Do
were
a
all
lot
great.
of fucking hair, like not heavy lifting, but they raise it way above that 8.
Yes. And then the show in its entirety, now that both seasons have been out, is an 8.6 out of 10 with 201,000 reviews. And Rotten Tomatoes, again, has a 99% tomato meter and 93% audience score for the show when I last looked at this. So it's rated very well.
You both can just say thank you to me for introducing you to the show and pumping this show up so much.
You
to get-
did. I was
did?
really strange. Yeah, because it was really strange because we knew it was a show about cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Because from the previews and stuff, we knew it was a show about cooking, and he comes in and tells us about it, Mister like superhero movies
Yeah.
and comic stuff, and
I like other shit.
yeah, and he tells us about this show about cooking. And I'm like,
Why?
why are you watching? Why did you even watch this?
What got you on
Jeremy
it?
Allen White.
Yeah, I get that.
watched Shameless. I was like, he's in a new show set in Chicago. Plays the same fucking character essentially. I'm like, all right, I'll
Yeah.
watch it.
I knew that it was a very good show because it was like for the longest time, it was the only thing that would pop up whenever you pull up Hulu.
Yeah.
It's like, watch the bear, watch the bear, watch the bear. I'm like, well, obviously this is either a Hulu show and they're just really pushing it, or it's really good, was my thought. But it was both. So now we're on to our ratings for season 2, and then we'll do a total. Jarrett, I just keep rolling 4s. Every time it's a 4.
It's not perfect, but goddamn, is it close? 9.7.
And it's me. I also give it a 9.7. This season for me was one of the best seasons of live action television that I've watched. Ethan.
It's got to be like around the same. It's got to be like 9.7, 9.8, somewhere in there. It's not perfect, but it is the closest I've seen in a show
In a long time.
maybe ever.
Yeah.
Maybe ever in a show. It's too good.
Yeah. And Jarrett.
Joe's already done
both seasons.
So both,
We're
just
doing it like together.
combine it. I guess I'll just make it like a 9.4, kind of average it out.
Okay. I was gonna just say you, but I got to roll that. It's me. I don't know why I'm rolling. It's been the same all day. I give it. I think mine would have been like a 9.2, like average wise. So that's season 1. While it is great, it does drag it down. So.
Yeah, I'd only realized that after rewatching it again last week.
It's just because of the hecticness. Yeah. If there was more, which don't get me wrong, I think it fits the show perfectly. But if there was more structure, it would have been higher.
Season 2 actually had a lot more calm sequences, and like when they were doing the renovations and stuff, it had a lot more. So they may be figuring that out. So
the scene in Copenhagen with fucking Luca, Will Poulter's character, and Marcus, like they're just sitting there talking, and he's just asking.
So calm,
calm, and you're just like, man, I could watch this all fucking day.
Yes, I could watch them make shit and talk.
Yeah.
You guys want to start a podcast?
It was just so. I was like, oh man, I want this so much.
Yeah. What about you, Ethan? Totally.
I'll just go in between you two, just for the sake of going in between. So we're not saying 9.3.
Okay.
It's just super good.
Yeah, it is a really good show, and I highly suggest you go watch it.
Yep.
Even if you don't like normal, just basic dramas, or all you watch is like fantasy and sci-fi stuff, it's just so well done.
It's so well done, and it's funny enough that if it's not like solid drama. Yeah. It's not just drama the whole time like some shows that I've seen.
But it's not like joke on top of joke on top of joke. It's not forced.
Yes.
Everything, all the jokes, all the funny stuff is very natural. You have to be paying attention.
It feels very real.
It does. Yeah. It does. They're all real reactions. I mean, Richie and Fack are just
phenomenal.
I mean, they're great.
Yep. All right. So we thank you guys for listening. Use the link in the description. You can find all of our fancy shit there. And we hope to catch you on the next one.
Deuce.
Adios.